Cardinals from around the world begin the secretive centuries-old ritual of the conclave to elect a successor to Pope Francis.
Conservative leader Friedrich Merz has been elected the new German chancellor in the second round of voting in the Bundestag.
Presidential candidate George Simeon says he is a Euro realist in an exclusive interview with Euronews Romania.
Russia launched a missile and a barrage of drones into Ukraine overnight into Wednesday, killing at least 2 people, according to Ukrainian officials. Kyiv City Military Administration said 8 people were wounded, including 4 children. Local officials said the victims were found in a residential building where drone debris sparked fires in several apartments. At least 1 ballistic missile and 28 Russian drones were recorded in Kyiv's airspace, the administration said. The attack came less than a day ahead of a unilateral 72-hour ceasefire that Russian President Vladimir Putin had announced to coincide with celebrations in Moscow marking Victory Day in World War II. There was no immediate comment from Moscow on the attack, but Russian officials reported shooting down Ukrainian drones over several Russian regions as well. Today, cardinals from around the world begin the secretive centuries-old ritual of the conclave to elect a successor to Pope Francis. 133 cardinals from 70 countries are isolating themselves inside the Sistine Chapel, their cell phones surrendered and connection jammed around the Vatican to prevent all communications until a new pope is elected. The cardinals begin with a final mass in St. Peter's Basilica, after which they walk solemnly into the Sistine Chapel. Once there, they pledge to maintain secrecy and to not allow outside interference to influence their voting. Assuming no winner is found, the Vatican said black smoke could be expected out of the Sistine Chapel chimney at around 7 p.m. While cardinals said they expected a short conclave, it will likely take at least a few rounds of voting.
Germany has a new chancellor, Friedrich Merz. The Christian Democratic Union chairman initially failed in the first round of secret ballots. He then won a majority in the second round held later in the day, gaining 325 votes, 9 more than the required 316.
Ich frage Sie, Herr Abgeordneter Merz, nehmen Sie die Wahl an?
Frau Präsidentin, ich bedanke mich für das Vertrauen und ich nehme die Wahl an.
Applause erupted in the capital, Berlin, following Merz's appointment as chancellor, but the general public were left with a feeling of suspicion.
Links ist vorbei. Wieder Politik für die Mehrheit der Bevölkerung machen.
Wird ein faktisches Einreiseverbot in die Bundesrepublik Deutschland gilt ausdrücklich auch für Personen mit Schutzanspruch. Rauskommen aus dieser strukturellen Schwäche unserer Volkswirtschaft, dass wir rauskommen aus dieser völlig verfehlten Energiepolitik.
A policy change by the CDU-CSU union while being in coalition with the SPD, that seems almost impossible to political observers.
Nach meiner Einschätzung wird er weder ein linker Kanzler noch ein rechter Kanzler. Er wird einfach ein verhältnismäßig beliebiger Kanzler. Ich glaube, Merz wird so regieren und so die Entscheidungen treffen, wie es gerade passt. Er hat dezidiert immer vor der Wahl gesagt, die Schuldenbremse werde ich nicht antasten. Und sofort nach der Wahl tastet er die Schuldenbremse an. Das ist kein gutes Zeichen. Er hat sich eigentlich in die babylonische Gefangenschaft der SPD begeben. Das ist sozusagen das Problem. Er hat ohne Not immer wieder im Wahlkampf, ohne dass er extra gefragt worden ist, ohne dass es nötig gewesen wäre, die Brandmauer bekräftigt. Er hat immer wieder gesagt, die Brandmauer werde ich auf keinen Fall antasten. Ich halte die Brandmauer für zutiefst undemokratisch und für politisch ganz dumm. Er hat sich nämlich dadurch, in dem Augenblick, in dem Merz sagt, ich werde die Brandmauer nicht antasten, gibt es nur noch eine Option, nämlich die Koalition mit der SPD. Und die SPD weiß das.
But did Merz have to make concessions to the SPD in order to ensure his election in the second round of votes?
Immer öfter wird er vor der Frage stehen, halte ich mein Versprechen ein oder lasse ich die Regierung platzen? Das ist einfach... Das ganz große Problem ist ja, wir müssen da nicht drum rumreden, die entscheidende politische Frage ist die Migrationspolitik. Also Merz muss tatsächlich die Ängste in der Bevölkerung aufgreifen und sagen, ich ändere grundsätzlich und grundlegend die Migrationspolitik. Und ich weiß nicht, wie das mit der SPD eigentlich gehen soll. Und das weiß er wahrscheinlich selber auch noch nicht.
Merz, in a victorious gesture, throws his hands up in the air.
George Simeon, winner of Romania's presidential first round of votes, defended his political stance during an exclusive interview with Euronews Romania. He addressed frequent accusations of being anti-Ukrainian, pro-Russian and Eurosceptic. Simeon says he advocates for a Europe of sovereign nations and opposes further EU federalization.
I am a Euro realist. We want a Europe of nations, and I am the person who fought the most before entering the politics with Russian propaganda. Our problems with Ukraine is not about hatred, about opposing something. It's about Ukrainians that must respect international treaties and the right of national minorities. We have 500,000 of Romanian speakers in Ukraine, and they don't have the right to school and to church.
Simeons insisted he is firmly pro-NATO and supports increased defence spending.
For us, being a member of NATO is vital. We sacrificed a lot for being admitted to NATO. We invested a lot.
When speaking of the US, Simeon expressed strong alignment with the US Republican Party and the MAGA movement. The second round of presidential elections are scheduled for May the 8th.
The US president posted on his social media page on 5th of May that he would impose a 100% tariff on films made outside the US. The American film industry is dying at a rapid pace. Other countries are offering all kinds of incentives to lure filmmakers and studios away from the US. That's why I'm authorizing the Department of Commerce to immediately begin the process of imposing a 100% tariff on all foreign-produced films coming into our country, Donald Trump said in his post. The details are not known at all, but if it does happen, a lot of countries will be very badly off, including Hungary, where last year film spending was close to $1 billion.
Eljutottunk oda, hogy ma már egy globális filmgyártásról beszélünk. Jóformán nincs is olyan nagy játékfilm, ami nem globálisan készül. Hát gondoljunk bele egy Mission Impossible-be, hány helyszínen forog, vagy egy James Bond filmbe, az is legalább 4-5 országban játszódik. De akármelyik, nem tudom, milyen ismertebb Gyűrűk ura, Blade Runner, ezek mind rengeteg helyen forognak, mert egész egyszerűen így jön létre ez a kulturális terv. Azt gondoljuk, hogy ahogyissá változott a gyártás, a folyamata észszerűség a eredménye, és most ez a több film legyen az Egyesült Államokban, ez egy jogos törekvésük, biztos fognak rá megoldást találni, a mostani állapot pedig inkább egy felkiáltó jel, és értjük, van egy ilyen igény, abszolút megértjük. Mi is azt szeretnénk, hogy még több film forogjon Magyarországon.
Just how fluid the issue is can be seen by the fact that President Trump later promised to consult with representatives of the US film industry. And the White House said that no final decision on tariffs on films made abroad has been made yet. Responding to question from journalists, Trump stressed that film production and the offshoring of films has decimated the US film industry and that he wants to help, not hurt, the industry, which receives financial and other support abroad.
Jobs, that's all what it's very important.
People are mad at the game for a variety of reasons. The backlash started because people didn't expect one of the protagonists was going to be a black African samurai. Everybody probably just assumed this is just a DEI thing, so people wanted to, look for who to yell at. Online communities, they started talking a lot about me, my book, my family. Once I realized that nobody was defending me, I just decided to do what I knew would work.
Saji contacted me on Reddit. I wasn't sure if it was her, so I went through to the Zoom call anyway. Obviously, no one knew at that time what Saji actually consulted on. This is the reason why the Zoom call was so important to me, because I was able to understand her and what she actually did to the game. I felt so bad. I apologized, I think, more than 10 times maybe. I learned a massive lesson because I just let the post roll. I didn't even think about the consequences of doing this. I just thought I shouldn't have made this person a target for no reason whatsoever.
Nobody is unaffected by this very polarizing culture. So I just hope that people will, try to treat each other as fellow humans, and it will work, I promise.